I'm a little late to this story, but it's because I wasn't paying close enough attention to the news. I've had stuff going on, and I didn't realize how big it was. So Xbox announced a remake of the original Halo, which is funny. It feels like it was not that long ago. We got Master Chief Collection, which wasn't a complete ground up remake, more like a remaster, I suppose, because you could like switch between original and new graphics, but it still was like all of the assets totally redone. So that was already a pretty great product, but one that probably wasn't as recent as I think it was. It was last gen sometime. This gen is almost done. And two, take a page out of Sony's book. Sony proved there's no limit to how many times you can remaster and remake and re-release a game. There's no, does a game even need to be remade? It doesn't matter. You can do it as much, once a generation, like at least. So like, yeah, no, you better get in on remaking Halo this generation, because you're going to need that much time to do the next one, next generation. But no, this is going to be like a full remake though. So, they're going to be redoing the entire thing and even changing some of the design and probably adding in story and all that stuff. So it's a much bigger project than previous remasters. And this is also an opportunity to just sell one game, just like one instead of a collection. You got to stop with this collection stuff. You got to make us buy all these individually. So it was already interesting that they were doing that. They're remaking the original Halo. But then the more interesting thing was that it's coming to PS5. And no, I mean, that is a big deal. Like, like Xbox has been doing this whole really, really big push for multiplat, for just putting their games on all systems. But previously, it kind of seemed like they were sort of being careful about it. I know like it started small and it's only been accelerating. So, I suppose this is kind of a long time coming, but up until now, it has seemed at least like more or less strategic, like they announced they were putting Gears of War. Was that also a remake of the first one, I think? They were going to put that on PlayStation, but I'm thinking like, all right, so like, yeah, Gears of War, that is one of like the big Xbox exclusive series, but you're just putting like a remake of the first game on PlayStation. That's a marketing move, that's just kind of a tester. It's trying to like give PlayStation users a little taste of Halo, and maybe, in theory, that'll potentially make them want to go and get an Xbox because they realize they love Gears of War so much. So I kind of thought that's what this was, and it still was interesting. Just Halo on PlayStation. Yes, that is weird. It is weird that exists in this video game world that we live in. It is a very strange timeline. You say something like that, even 10, 15 years ago, just a very weird idea. But even then, I thought like, okay, but it's still like, it's like what they did with Gears. It's like what they're doing with anything. They're putting stuff on other platforms. I didn't catch, and thus the lateness of this video, I did not catch that they are saying Halo is going to be on PlayStation from now on. Halo is now a multi-platform series. It is no longer an Xbox exclusive. And that's interesting. That's very, very interesting. And there's been a lot of Xbox news and rumors recently. We have only seen them become more and more comfortable with multi-platform games, putting their games on even competitors, quote-unquote competitor systems. Just a few weeks ago, Xbox's Sarah Bond said that the very idea of exclusive games was antiquated. Like, it's just an old idea. We don't need anymore, which is funny, because then I can't remember his name, but a different guy, an ex-Xbox executive, was like, oh, exclusive games don't work anymore. They're antiquated, huh? Yeah, someone tell that to Nintendo. It's kind of literally their entire business, and they're doing very well. But yeah, not to get into the whole, is exclusivity good or bad for the industry or whatever, but like, Xbox has been moving away from that. But it's, of course, been weird, because that suggests that they are pulling away from the box part of Xbox. You know, we keep, that rumor a few weeks ago that they were not going to do a next-gen box. And we were like, okay, that makes sense because that lines up, that tracks with everything that you have been saying and doing. All of your actions suggest that you are pulling away from the very idea of selling a box that sits under a person's TV. You're dropping out of the console war, and yet they keep insisting that they are not. But Halo becoming multi-platform, that's it. That's it. This is like Nintendo giving Mario up, just being like, Mario's not exclusive anymore. Mario's going to be on every other system moving forward. That's what this is. Master Chief Halo, it is Xbox's Mario. It was never, as popular as Mario. Master Chief as a character is not quite as iconic and huggable and, shirtable, plushable, merchandisable. But if Xbox has a Mario, it's Master Chief. If they have a series that is just the most widely associated with them, it's Halo. Like that was the game to play on the original Xbox. Halo is the reason Xbox survived past a single console generation, essentially. So to say that it's going multi-platform, it's just like, all right, that's it. It pretty much doesn't matter what you say at this point. Clearly, selling consoles is just not your business anymore. And you know what? It sort of makes sense because it's been weird that they keep insisting that they're going to keep making boxes, but some of the recent rumors going around, it does kind of line up. It does sort of make sense. So you get a twofer today. We're also going to talk about some of the next gen Xbox rumors. The idea is that it's going to be like basically a Windows machine. I know, like, you could sort of almost say the same thing about Xbox. I don't really know, but like it's going to be more for the last several generations, these things have just been like PCs. More and more and more as time goes on. But this is like truly going to be the closest to just being a Windows PC. It's going to be Windows ecosystem, but the idea is that also means free multiplayer, because it's just like you're playing on PC. You will even be able to like play Steam games on the box. So like that is interesting. Because, these consoles, even if like architecturally they really resemble PCs, they're still very, proprietary, like these kind of like, I don't know how to describe. I sort of get how it works. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's a console. It's a lot simpler. The UI and the OS is a lot simpler. There's a lot less finagling. That's why I like console gaming. PC gaming is cool, but like it's a lot more complicated. Consoles are simple. They're less flexible, but they are very simple. So this is going to get more into the flexible territory, I suppose. And then the other idea going around is that this box is going to be very powerful and very expensive. It's not going to be the kind of thing where Xbox is looking for a share of the market. They're looking to compete with PlayStation. They want a lot of people to have Xboxes under their TVs or whatever. That's not really what they're doing. And so if anything, I would say for the first time, their actions are lining up with the expected actions that they are going to take. They kept saying, none of our stuff is exclusive anymore. You can play Xbox anywhere. The box doesn't even matter. Oh, you're going to stop making boxes? No, and that was weird. But now, like, it's sort of starting to make sense. Okay, you are out of the console wars. You are. You're not going to make a box that is trying to compete with Sony for a share of the market. It's going to be like the ROG Ally 2. They just put out that handheld. They canceled their dedicated Xbox handheld, and they're just doing this, and it's like $1,000 device, but apparently it's really good. Apparently it's a really, really just strong and capable device, and it's not going to sell that many units, but they'll probably make a pretty good amount of money on each unit sold, and anyone who's playing on it is buying into the Xbox ecosystem, Game Pass, and all that stuff. So it sounds like that's what they're doing with the next console. Is it's not going to sell 80 million units, maybe a few million or something, but like it's it's a product to buy. It's not a system that they need to, like, it's only worth selling if they can get it in that many homes, and it's gonna be that much of an install base to sell their software. So really it represents a dramatic scaling back. Like I said, essentially they are exiting the console business, even if they are going to be putting out a next-gen console. Technically, if it's, you know, $1,200 or something, you're only going to get the people who are, you know, the enthusiasts, the real tech heads, you know, and they're only competing with that one element of Sony, where they do want the PlayStation to be the most powerful and, you know, the most prestigious console there is. So really, Xbox is just going right there. They're just going straight for that weak point right there and being like, we're not going to sell the most, but maybe we can put out the most powerful console so that people who are mainly interested in playing multiplats, because there sure as heck haven't been that many exclusive Sony like first party games this generation. So so at the very least, Xbox can have a powerful box that is very flexible and has access to all these different ecosystems and whatnot. And in the meantime, they still make games. Xbox is now just producing like multi-platform games. I don't know if I guess the jury's still kind of out on if this means everything is going multi-platform. But like if Halo does, then why wouldn't everything? If anything was going to stay exclusive, if anything was going to, it was Halo. So if Halo isn't exclusive anymore, then why would anything be? And of course, you could say just because everything is going exclusive, you may still get games that are temporarily exclusive to Xbox. Apparently, this remake of Halo is going to be day and date on PlayStation and PC, which is crazy. But maybe moving forward, a brand new mainline numbered Halo game would still be like, you know, for the first 8 months or something, you gotta have an Xbox to play it. I don't really know. I guess it's not worth speculating too much. It's just we're in a weird place right now with Xbox. Xbox is in a very strange place. It really has given up the console thing. Even if they're still technically making consoles, they're not in the war anymore. if Halo is a multi-platform series going forward. Ultimately, when people are buying a console, it does really come down to the games. You know, like at least that's been how it is for me. I will get a console if there are enough games to play on that console that I cannot play anywhere else, because there's too many options now. Like, you can, like any multi-platform game, you've already got all these options. Xbox already didn't have the games. Like they already this whole last 2 generations, they already just completely screwed up on that front. They just don't have enough games that capture enough interest over enough of the audience. So now that they're not even gonna have the games, it's yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting, but I suppose that more developments will come and there will be more to talk about. I've been wanting to do a great big video about Xbox for a super long time now. I think it's probably getting to the point where I need to just buckle down and do it. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Halo's coming to PlayStation. That's a thing. I'm imagining Master Chief and Sonic are like sitting next to each other at a bar or something, just being like, man, life's weird. It's crazy where life brings you, huh?